Good morning, all. Let's get some rearrangement here. Okay. There we go. All right. Well, it's good to be back on our Facebook page. As you can see, there's still technical issues up to the last minute, but I think we're doing okay. Let's get our tea warmed. I'm going to find our meditation posture. Finding this posture is about finding balance. Okay? So as we move into our seated positions, whether that's on a mat or a pillow on the floor with legs crossed, or on a chair like I am today, with my feet flat to the floor. You want to have your shoulders relaxed. You can pull them up, tense them up to the ears, and then bring them down. Whenever you need to do to find that position of total relaxation. I place my palms up, and that assists my arms in rolling the shoulder open, just very slightly. And I pull my shoulder blades together, just a touch. And breathe. And as you're breathing, you want to check the body and breathe deeply using the diaphragm. And this is going to be the breath that expands the belly on the in-breath, and then the chest. Right? And And when you exhale, pull that belly button towards the spine. In fact, you can place one hand on the belly and one hand on the chest. And feel the rising and falling. With each in-breath and out-breath. As you allow yourself to return to natural breath, notice any sensations the body may be feeling. Do a check on your posture, bringing your spine erect, tall, lengthened, shoulder blades flat, chest open. Check the front muscles. Be sure you're not straining the abdominals or the core to hold the body in position. It can help greatly if you're on the floor with legs in a crossed position of some sort to have a small bolster or pillow underneath the bum. That's going to help the spine to sit stacked on top of the sits bone. Relax the face, the muscles at the back of the head, the jaw. Let the tongue come away from the roof of the mouth. The neck, the shoulders. The back and belly, hips, thighs. Upper arms and forearms, elbows. Relax the wrist. Loosen the grip with the hands. You can allow yourself to hold a mudra. It's different positions with the hands. This is Chin Mudra, Chin Mudra. Mandala Mudra. Whatever position is most comfortable to you to hold with the hands. Let them lie relaxed on the lap. Check the knees, shins and calves, the ankles and the feet. And breathe. Let's hum together for a few breaths, chanting the Om. Let's do some breathing in fours. This is also called box breath. This is a evenly counted and spaced in-breath, retention, out-breath, and abstention. Right? So we'll breathe in for a count of 4. We'll hold for a count of 4. We'll release for a count of 4. And we'll hold for a count of 4. And continue that cycle. We'll do this for a few rounds. So find your meditation posture again. Opening the chest. Breathe out and begin. Breathing in. Hold. Release. Hold. Breathe in. Hold. Release. Hold. Continue. Continue. Last round. Exhale and return to natural breath. We'll begin our next pranayama. We'll do 7 rounds of Nadi Shodhana. This is also called alternate nostril breathing. Okay. So we begin with our hands in what's called Vishnu Mudra. Okay, the right hand, right thumb extended, first and second fingers folded down, third finger and small finger extended. Okay, so when you face the palm towards the face, this is what you'll see. You'll see your 2 first fingers folded down in front of you. Alternately, you could also and what we'll be doing, whichever finger position you're holding with your hand, we're going to be closing off the right nostril with the right thumb, exhaling from the left nostril completely, inhaling from the left nostril completely, closing off the left nostril with the third finger and small finger while opening the right nostril, exhaling from the right completely, inhaling from the right completely. And that's going to comprise 1 round. Exhaling from the left, inhaling from the left, exhaling from the right, inhaling from the right. And this is 1 round. This is a balancing breath. This is going to help us find balance and equanimity. This is balancing the nadis, the energy lines that run throughout the body. And this is bringing us a bit of calm and ease with our breath, our body, our mind, and our emotions. So here we go. Exhale completely from the left. And in. Exhale completely from the right. And in. Now you may notice that one side is a little more constricted than the other. So what we want to do is count the counts it takes to exhale completely and inhale completely. And match the more free-flowing side to the more constricted side. Round 4. back and release. Then return to natural breath. But notice any new sensations. Notice any changes or shifts in your mental state, your emotional state, or your physical state. As you slowly bring the posture back into an elongated spine, open chest. As we begin to find our balance and the union of awareness of our body, awareness of our mind, awareness of our emotions, awareness of our spiritual being at the core of it all. Just follow the breath. As we follow the breath in and out. Just allow any thoughts that arise to come up and go down. Allowing the mind to shift. Bring the focus of your nose. You can even cross the eyes and look upwards towards a place right behind the center of the forehead. Breathe, following the breath in and out. Picture a source of light sitting in front of you, right above the third eye. Moving like water and glowing gently. Watch as you are breathing in and breathing out. And as you tilt the head upwards ever so slightly, slowly and gently, you can see this light like water pouring from a pitcher to the glass, from its source directly into your body. Feel it as you open the space of the body with deep, long inhalations. Slow, controlled exhalations. And as you breathe in, picture this light pouring into your body through your third eye. Feel it go all the way down to the root. With each in-breath, you can feel the opening, like you're breathing into the third eye, all the way into your root chakra at the base of the body. And as you breathe out from the root all the way up to the third eye, feel yourself sending that light back to the world. Bring the focus back to the breath. You can bring your palms together in Namaste Mudra, prayer position or position of gratitude in front of the body. You can rub them together to create warmth. And before you open the eyes, place your warmed hands over the face. Open the eyes. Feel any sensations that are arising in the body as you bring awareness back from inside out. As we take on the practice of following the breath in and out, we are focusing on, pardon me while I adjust onto the seat. We are focusing on receiving and releasing, right? This is a practice that we do all day, every day, for our entire lives. We're receiving, we're releasing. And our capacity to release depends upon our capacity to receive. And what this can also mean is that our capacity to give care, right, is related to, in relation to, our capacity to receive care. Our capacity to love is our capacity to receive love. And To receive requires an openness, right? It'd be difficult for me right now to fill my cup with warm, fresh tea if my cup were full of yesterday's tea, of old, cold tea. Right? But the capacity to receive is greater the more we can let go. Right? So I think about this often when I consider being in relationship to someone, and it may be um, someone that you love dearly, someone you love deeply, right? Maybe it's a partner or a parent or a sibling or a child, best friend, right? Someone in your life that you have been with for a long time, you share a lot of experiences with. And your spirit, their spirit, your souls unite, right, and can meet. But over time, what can happen is we can hold on to a snapshot of who that person is, who they were, right? And we can hold them to this role or identity that we've created for them based upon our experience with them, right? What we've come to understand our roles are with one another. And usually these are pretty fluid, right? We take on different roles all the time. Um, we take on the roles of, father, son, husband, wife, brother, sister, neighbor, friend. We take on within those roles other roles, caregiver, receiver, shoulder to cry on, one who's crying, whatever these roles are. Uh, we serve one another. We serve one another meals. We serve one another tenderness, right? So those roles become pretty fluid. But when we begin to hold on to this notion that we know who this person is, we know the is of this person, when those behaviors become the identity and then those behaviors change, we can struggle. Right? We can struggle with accepting this. Um, and this can be especially true when talking about maybe some negative behaviors. Maybe when we're talking about some experiences we've had in the past where we felt that this person was behaving in a way that was selfish or harmful, or behaving in a way that was vindictive, or some way we've perceived that this person has this behavior that we don't like, this behavior that we don't trust, or that we don't feel safe with, or that we just don't have respect for, right? And these are things we all do. We all have these behaviors with one another at some point, right? We all do things that we wished we didn't. We all do things that were received in a way that we did not intend. Okay. But when we begin to hold somebody to this standard, this static identity, it can become difficult to allow that person to change, or to allow that person to not be that static identity that we have been holding on to. And it works, like I said, for negative things, but also for positive. Like, I'm talking about the allowance of a person to be, um, who they are in the moment. This is our capacity to receive. If when I'm coming up to you and I'm expecting you to behave the way that I've experienced you behaving before, I'm not open to you coming to me in this moment right now with who you are, with what you're experiencing. So I have these expectations, right? And then I'm either disappointed or I'm somehow validated in confirming my suspicions. When I have expectations and we treat each other a certain way, we speak to each other in a certain way, and we receive the same sort of behaviors in return. So we start to form these relationships that are built on what our small talk is, the way that we behave around certain ideas or certain things. And this diminishes our ability to be fluid. And we do this most importantly with ourselves. We come up against ourselves and we think, you're going to mess this up again. Right? That's what you always do. Nobody's going to expect anything different. You may as well just stay in bed. You may as well just, you're going to be late, whatever, just be late. Whatever these things are, right? We come up to these identities that we've built around ourselves or built around another. And so this means we're holding on to sort of a static image of this person. But can you imagine what it would be like to only exhale half of the amount of breath each time you take a breath? Right? And you hold on to half of that in-breath. We do this. We do this often. In fact, most of us are not really fully exhaling or fully inhaling fresh breath each time we breathe. We begin to retain the breath, and we, in doing so, also build ourselves a structure of tension, of withholding in the bodies. Right? This is a physiological response to stress, to anxiety, to trauma, um, to levels of unawareness. Right? So the practice that we have of receiving and letting go is a physical practice that allows us to touch into the body, find the sensation of what it is to let go, what it is to receive, what it is to release. And you'll find that in many ways, when you emotionally learn to release, you'll find a similar feeling in the body. Right? You'll find that when you can emotionally release something that you've been strained and holding on to, oftentimes it'll follow with an absolute release of whatever you've been holding. And it's in that release, that elongated, deep, meaningful release, that we've opened our capacity to receive. So when I'm coming up against myself, right, I'm struggling with thought processes that I've learned habitually over time, usually negative, but sometimes not. But I have this loop, this mind loop of a story I'm telling myself, right? Or I come up against another person, one of my kids or my wife or whatever, and we're having conflict. When I can return to my practice, even in the moment when things are getting heated, when I can return to that place of breathing deeply, releasing completely, and staying with the person, right? Staying with the presence of this thing that I'm in conflict with. Not turning away from it, not avoiding, not running. And as I sit longer and receive and release, deepening my release each time, allowing me to deepen my in-breath each time, deepening my ability to receive, a transformation begins. And the story that I've had about myself or about this person for all this time that I've been responding and reacting to, the story I've created about their intentions or about their thoughts about who I am, the story that I built in my mind all of a sudden transforms. It goes away. And I'm standing here in front of my beloved. I'm sitting with the one that I love. Whether it's just me or whether it's me and I can make out the shape of that love. And I can begin to receive. Because there's these different places that we have inside of ourselves. And we sort of orbit around these different places. Like the moon, if you can picture the moon and its cycles waning, waxing. Right? This is how we kind of come into relation with ourselves. We open to it, we close to it. It's the waves on the shore, it's the moon cycles, it's the seasons, it's the budding of the spring leaves and the falling of the autumn leaves. Right? It's these cycles of give and take, back and forth. It's not a duality because there's not two ends to the spectrum, right? It's a constantly flowing, breathing organism. And we are like this as well. Right? But when I approach these parts of myself with the mindset of being in my wounding, right? When I'm sitting with my wound, how I'm feeling hurt by you, hurt by this person, or hurt by my own thoughts, when I'm sitting in that pain and I'm holding on to that pain, I'm not releasing, that's suffering, right? Suffering is not the pain. The pain is pain. Suffering is the insistence on the pain is not going to change. Suffering is the insistence that this is forever. Right? That's when we suffer. When we don't allow ourselves to understand the temporariness of all of it. We have a permanent problem in a temporary body. What does that look like? What does that look like? Um, it's like when we die, our body's going to decay, but all of a sudden there's just going to be this pile of problems in the ground. No, no, these things are temporary. This pain is temporary. This body is temporary. It's built that way. The bodies are built to grow old. Bodies are built to become sick. Bodies are built to die. Right? It's But when I'm sitting there in my story and I'm coming up against this person and I'm in my place of wounding, right? This is something I've been really thinking a lot about. When I'm in my wound, everything hurts. Everything hurts. When I'm in the middle of an argument with someone and I'm holding on so tightly to what I believe their intention is or their story's bullshit or whatever it may be, right? Whatever I'm telling myself, everything this person says, I'm going to just store it in the evidence room of my argumentative mind, right? Like everything hurts. You just don't get it. You just don't understand. You're just, why are you being so awful? This is where we live in our wound. This is when we live in that pain. And we do this with ourselves most of all. We start to feel that pain and we become embarrassed or ashamed of it, or we become angry about the pain, but not in a way that allows us to process that anger. We're holding on to it about ourselves. So everything we do, everything we think, it hurts. Everything all of a sudden feels like a failure or something in the process of failing. Right? We know what this self-talk can look like. But the other side of that, right, when I can release and receive, and I can transform in that very short time, in that little bit of space, if I can give myself those couple of breaths in and out, deep, slow and in and out, reminding myself that my practice of breathing is my practice of thinking and it is my practice of feeling. Right? These are one. This is the yoga. This is the union. Then I'm in my healing. And I'm sitting in this place of receiving and releasing. And when I'm in my healing, everything that I perceive is medicine. Everything is medicine. Right? When I'm actively focused on releasing my insistence upon this story that I have, when I'm absolutely focused on receiving this beloved for who they are, not for who I'm telling myself they are in this moment, and everything I receive is medicine. And as I make out the shape of who they are and who I am, and we're sitting, these souls swimming around in this big sea, right? It's medicine. So that's my little takeaway for today. I've been saying it the last few days. When I'm in my wounding, everything hurts. And when I'm in my healing, everything is medicine. And sometimes the awareness comes from the other side, right? The awareness doesn't come from I'm in my wounding and then I become aware that everything hurts. It's usually the other way. When I start to notice and feel like everything seems like it's against me, right? Everything seems like it's a slight or a challenge or whatever it is. When I start to feel that way, I can go, oh, that's what this is. I'm holding on to a wound. I'm holding on to a story. I'm holding on to an experience that I haven't let go of yet. I haven't processed yet. Right? So then I get to do the work. That's when I get to sit with that wound and I get to breathe. And like the light that we pictured in the meditation, right, pouring itself into our body, I get to receive. And the more I just receive and release, I transform that wound into a place of healing. I transform what I thought was my condition. This is what I'm going to feel forever. This is it. This is my condition now. Now I'm just this big open wound walking around all the time. I've transformed that into an opportunity to heal. Okay, so now what I'm receiving doesn't have to hurt. Maybe there's some discomfort. Maybe there's some realizations that need to be had that are a little difficult, right? That can be very difficult. Realizing that it's been you all along who's been responsible for your feelings. Wow. Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Right. But when you get there, you're in your healing. This question comes up, right? What if everything was on my side all along? What if everybody was on my side all along? Even when it felt like they were attacking me, even when they were, even when I was being abused or victimized, but in some way, in some fashion, it was all working towards this moment of transformation. Now, I don't know if the caterpillar experiences a great amount of pain in the chrysalis as it transforms, but I know that this pain that I feel now is not suffering. It's pain. It's an experience of shift. It's an experience of change. Sometimes it's an experience of loss, right? But that pain, when it's just pain, not suffering, is a sensation, and it's mine. And it's there to bring me into awareness of where I'm hurting, of where I'm holding on, so then I can learn to sit with that space and allow that space to relax and allow myself to process. And it doesn't happen all at once necessarily, right? Sometimes it takes a lot of dipping your toes into that painful place. And then, okay, I'm not ready yet. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Yeah. But just keep coming. Keep coming for it. Keep coming back. Keep coming home. All right. I put my hands together in the position of gratitude and prayer. And my gratitude right now is for all of those painful teachers. I'm grateful to have them and to be able to sit at their feet and learn. So grateful. And my prayer today is that may we all be in our healing. May we all be in our healing. So thanks for joining me on this journey home. You can find us every day, Monday through Saturday, 7:30 a.m. right here on Journey Home Meditation. Right, we're going to be broadcasting live every day from this page on Facebook. I do feel a little bit of, I don't know what it is exactly, sadness that that I'm not broadcasting live on other platforms for people that aren't on Facebook. But soon we'll find some shift. Soon we'll be able to make that happen. But I'm going to stick with this format either way. Uh, I think this is the best place for this practice right now. You can find us on Patreon, and this is a place that you can offer support financially to all of the various projects that Journey Home Meditation is taking on this year. Um, yeah, we're working actively towards bringing these meditative practices to underserved populations, to elders and elder care facilities, to students in schools, to um, people in correctional facilities, right? We're looking at getting funding or finding ways of acquiring enough donations to be able to fund these programs so that the people who are being served don't have to worry about the cost. Um, and I think we can do this. I know we can. I know that we can do this as a community. We can come together and we can create these spaces. And the eventual plan is to develop the school and teach more people that might be interested in coming into these spaces to be facilitators. So uh, classes are being developed right now, workshops are being developed, um, and looking into finding ways to develop certifications for people to, oops, yeah, sorry, for people to be able to facilitate these meditations. So this is what the Patreon is funding, keeping this operation afloat while we figure all that out. So I appreciate you for being able to offer those resources. Thank you very much. And I really just appreciate everyone for being present. It's nice to be back on this platform to be able to communicate through the chat. So please, if you enjoyed this, like, share, subscribe, all of those things. Send this out to people that you think might also benefit from these practices. And we'll see you tomorrow morning. Hariom.